More than 100 new emergency call takers will be trained over the next year to try to fix Victoria's crisis-riddled 000 system. Key points. The $115.60 reform package will help recruit another staff for the Emergency Services Telecommunication Authority. The $115.60 reform package will help recruit another staff for the Emergency Services Telecommunication Authority. The mother of a 14-year-old girl says she spent minutes trying to get through to 000 before her daughter of an asthma attack. The mother of a 14-year-old girl says she spent minutes trying to get through to 000 before her daughter of an asthma attack. The union has welcomed the funding package, but says it should have been announced much sooner. Since October last year, up to 12 Victorians have while waiting for an ambulance, as the overwhelmed system continues to be plagued by long delays and staff shortages. The Victorian government has blamed an unprecedented increase in calls on the pandemic and deferred care, despite warnings about the system struggling to keep up with demand by the Auditor General as early as 2014. Emergency Services Minister Jacqueline Symes said the coroner would investigate the deaths of a dozen people after their calls to 000 went unanswered or were picked up late. The family of 14-year-old Alicia Hussein believes delays on the line contributed to her from an asthma attack last year. The teen dreamed of becoming a magistrate when she grew up because she wanted to make the world a better place, her mother Jasmine Hussein said. But in October 2021, on a day a thunderstorm asthma warning had been issued in Victoria, her dreams ended when she in the back seat of her parents' car while her mother frantically called for help. As a Telstra operator tried for 3 minutes to get an Emergency Services Telecommunications Authority operator on the line, Ms. Hussein said she watched her daughter turn blue. Alicia Hussein suffered a fatal asthma attack in October 2021. Alicia said, "I'm not going to make it anyway," and after that she didn't really speak much, Ms. Hussein said. The family lives close to the Northern Hospital, and Ms. Hussein said they could not wait any longer. They bundled Alicia into a car and then raced towards help. "We got very close to the street where you turn off to get to the hospital. That's when I knew. I knew. She wasn't responding, she didn't have a pulse," Ms. Hussein said. "But in my heart, I hoped she'd be okay, she'd get through it." Ms. Hussein performed CPR on her daughter until they reached the hospital. "I shouldn't be doing that," she said. "I should be able to hold her hand, tell her it's okay. I couldn't cuddle her, all I was doing was screaming at her to breathe." Despite her desperate attempts to save her daughter, and more than an hour of emergency response at the hospital, Alicia could not be revived. "I could say I've got happy memories of her, but the worst thing is the only thing I remember is the way she," Ms. Hussein said. ESTA did tell me that their reason for why my daughter that night was because they were short-staffed, and that doesn't sit right with me. I don't want to play the blame game on anything, but there's something wrong. Government acknowledges unacceptable delays. A recruitment campaign is underway to hire 120 additional call takers at the ESTA as part of a $115.6 million reform package. Delays in call taking are unacceptable, and we are doing everything we can to ensure the resources and support for ESTA are there to provide service Victorians can rely on, Ms. Symes said. To any family impacted by call delays, I want to give this firm commitment that I don't want other families to go through that experience. Ms. Hussein welcomed the funding. "I can't bear to think of another parent losing a child like we did," she said. More than $100 million in funding will be used to hire more 000 staff. The interim chief executive of ESTA, Stephen Lean, said 1 in 5 calls currently being made to 000 did not need an ambulance, which was providing frustration for emergency call takers. Currently, the ambulance network is receiving more than 3,000 calls a day, compared to 2,000 calls a day a year ago. There is still stress in the system and the health system. ESTA is not immune to that. There is stress across the eastern seaboard, Mr. Lean. I've stepped in to fix this, and with the support of government we've got now, We'll work towards getting this right. Funding long overdue, union says. The government said the extra capacity would mean a more consistent number of call takers will be rostered on each day, and more workers would be able to be called on for overtime or extra shifts during busy periods. ESTA has a benchmark of answering 90% of ambulance 000 calls within just 5 seconds. But in recent months, some Victorians have after waiting as long as 15 minutes for their emergency calls to be answered. Do you know more about this issue? Email rollason.bridgetab.net.au. The Victorian government hired 43 additional ESTA staff in October last year, in response to 2S, after emergency calls went unanswered for 5 minutes. Ambulance Union Secretary Danny Hill said that recruitment drive barely touched the sides in terms of the amount of staff that was needed. We are desperate. We definitely need the extra funding and the extra staff, he said. It's just a shame it's taken so many S to prompt this response. Had this happened in May last year, when we started to see the ESTA call times start to blow out, we might not have seen some of the tragedies we have over the past few months. The Victorian government said 2 major inquiries into the stretched 000 agency were due to report back by the middle of the year. Former Police Chief Graham Ashton is heading a review into ESTA and is expected to recommend a complete overhaul of the structure of the emergency call-out system, with a report due in coming weeks. The Inspector General for Emergency Management also announced a major inquiry in December. Shadow Emergency Services Minister Brad Batten said the funding had come too late. The Andrews Labor government has been in power for 11 of the past 15 years, and they are the reason the 000 system is in crisis, he said. There is only one way to fix it: get more staff. Get them in now and ensure those calls are answered.